Welcome to the Gearbox Podcast, where we dive deep into the dynamic world of automotive repair and ownership. I'm your host, Jimmy Purdy, an experienced technician turned shop owner with a passion for sharing insights, stories, and conversations with industry leaders. This is the Gearbox Podcast. Well, yeah, I think the last time was that was when we were at SEMA Apex, right, in November.
Yep.
And we're like, oh man, next week we should jump on a podcast and talk about this.
Yeah,
And
I
it's
think
like,
we
what is
were
it,
talking
August of
about
2024 now?
I tell you, and that's why you're like, oh, it's okay if you can cancel. Like, no, it's already been as long as this. I mean, they've probably come out with how many new marketing initiatives since last time we talked?
Oh my, yeah.
They move
It's
fast in that
It's crazy.
world.
We just went to a one in I just went there. It was in March. I don't know how that went by so fast, but it was in Utah, and it was all about marketing. And it was
Oh,
about trying to get the year started right, you know?
yeah.
And I'm like, and I'm going through the stuff that they went over, and I'm like, wait, it's August, and I haven't done any of that. Like, I did most of it, but I'm like, I didn't even, it's like you're going through the stuff. It's like, holy moly, how did that just happen? And then you start implementing the stuff. It's like, oh, that's changed, bro. Like, that's not the same anymore. Like, really? I was just there in March, like,
Uh-huh.
5 months ago. It's like, oh, that stuff doesn't work anymore. That's not what you want to do. Like, oh, okay, well, that shame on me for not doing it soon enough. But
Yeah. No, I totally get it. It happens so fast. But I mean, I'm down to talk about marketing if you want.
yeah, I think that's the stuff. I mean, we start with an introduction. The sister from
Yeah.
another mister.
That's me.
And you had some big life changes. So
I
congratulations on that.
did.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
It's
Thank you.
exciting
Yes.
and
She's
exhausting at
going
the
to
same
be,
time.
it's not as exhausting as I thought. She's a good baby. She sleeps longer than I do. So bless her. She sleeps through the whole night. We don't have to visit one time. And she wakes up when we wake up. So it's very nice in that aspect. She's about to be 6 months. So I can't believe I have a 6-month-old.
Yeah.
That's
You're
exciting.
You're not counting in weeks?
No.
That's too many weeks, huh?
Yeah.
That's a lot of math.
A lot of math. Because then when you count in weeks and you tell someone in weeks, they go, how many months is that? It's like, I got to do double the math. Like, we're sticking to months, and you could do the math on the weeks.
Yeah,
like
that's fine. Huh. No problem.
Multiplication's a lot easier than like, wait, 24, divide that. Like, let's times.
Way better that way, yeah.
Yes,
I like it.
Yes.
Not big on math.
It's been good. It's been good coming back to work and getting into the swing of thing for, being off for 3.5 months. I call it the longest vacation I've ever had since I started working. And there's been a lot of movement in my industry and initiatives in my industry for 2025. So it was a shock coming back and seeing like, wow, things move fast even when you're gone.
Yeah. Well, even when you're in part of it, but
it seems like it goes slower when you're part of it.
I guess. Maybe. Well, you
but,
have ADD like me, so
yeah,
you need a lot of movement quickly to make it make sense. Well, we're going a little outside the box on this one because we're not talking on the auto industry. But when we were having the conversation, wherever we were, what hotel was that?
Pretty sure it was the Wynn.
The Wynn. Oh yeah, you got high. Yeah, you're high class.
That was the first time. I had to be a nice hotel for a baby girl. That was going to be her first time going to the Vegas Strip. It had to be
true.
the Wynn.
You had to go straight to the top. You got to continue that now, right?
And just like so the listeners know, she was in my belly. So
yeah, to
I
clarify,
didn't bring my newborn to the casino.
The Wynn. Yeah. Let's say that when you start a relationship, you're not supposed to go straight to the top like that, because then it's like, what do you do next year now? You can't. You always, you go somewhere like Treasure Island or something like that and kind of work your way up,
Yeah.
It gets better every year. You don't go straight to the top, because then what do you do next year to make it better?
Hey, what's your excuse? What are you
Moving
gonna
on.
do next year to
Yeah.
make it better? Good luck,
Good
buddy.
luck. Yeah. I'm done trying. It's like it is what it is at this point. Just be happy we're
Fair
out of the
enough.
house. How about that, huh?
Yeah, yeah. The small wins. I guess
Th- th-
you can circle back to those little wins.
That's right. But it was interesting when we were talking because, and I think this is parallels in a lot of other industries, right? Where there's a lot of struggles you feel like it's only in like your world or in our world or whatever, right? And
Mhm.
it's not like we're all struggling with trying to find talented help, right? We're all trying to, I mean, struggling just to find someone that'll show up, right? For the interview, just to begin with, right? And then you're head of the marketing side of it, right?
Mhm.
And so it's kind of the same thing. We're all just selling ourselves, right? And it's like the marketing doesn't really go too far outside of the lines, I think, for most industries. And it was like finding those correlations is interesting, and finding those tactics that other industries use can really, I think, help because it puts you outside of the box of everybody else, right? Like when you're looking through ads, like nobody wants to get sold. Everyone's just seeing ads all day long
Yep.
for the same thing over and over. But if you see something different, that's what catches your attention. So that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. And I think another thing too is in the industries that we are currently in, there's such diverse perspectives. So we really challenge ourselves with enhancing this problem solving in taking, for example, retention of employees, and how do we market to keep good people, is something that I know my industry has struggled in, and I do see a correlation within others because everyone's just hopping for the next dollar, right? We're in California and it's expensive and everybody has their motives. And, I think motive number one is money for a lot of people. And then motive number two is fulfillment in the role that they're in. Is there growth? Is there, are they goal driven? Is there good morals, values, missions, all that kind of stuff that kind of correlate with retention to that. And, when you market your business, I'm sure you market it with a value of family and, this mission that you have. And same thing that we try to do. We're a huge national company, and we really try really hard to create, even though we are a big national company, to localize our marketing selection and even with our personnel. So it kind of comes full circle because when you hire good people, the output is what you're really hiring them for, is that output, and can they grow? You don't want people to come and then leave the next 6 months, and then you're stuck circling back again trying to get more help.
Yeah.
Um, so investing that time into people, and I know that's one thing we talked about. It's been a really big challenge, and one of the things we really focus on is having an attitude of gratitude and really focus on how can we invite people into our industry and be leaders while also encouraging them to be successful. And I think it's a challenge that we have every day, because if we provide all these great benefits to working for a specific person or company, if another company comes in with a higher dollar but also has some of those, they may switch really
Or
fast.
or even a totally different industry, and I think a lot miss that too,
Yeah.
right? Like we have a huge exodus going into the HVAC industry, right? Because it's mechanical,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
we can do AC, and it's like that's all you do. And they find these big companies, these corporations that have it a little bit more figured out, and they take care of their people, and they're like, yeah, I just that's all I want. Like I just want someone to tell me I did a good job, right? But then there's the other side of the coin where you can't really give that gratitude without seeing the production, right? Like they got to
Yep.
work and they got to be making the company money, and that's the
Yep.
bottom line. And I think right now, I mean, in our generation, that's that line, right, where everyone's just looking for the information online, and they're like, "Oh yeah, my boss treats me like that too." It's like, well, maybe you're the problem, right? Like maybe
Yeah.
so trying to make sure that they understand you will be taken care of if you do A, B, and C, if you keep these standards, if you meet our expectations. But that's the toughest part, because it's like, how do you enforce that and still show that they'll be rewarded, I guess is the right word at the end of that?
Yeah.
Like, because you're expecting them to know how to do their job, and you don't really want to micromanage them, but at the same time you kind of have to. And then do you reward them to, hey, so this is what's on the table if you do what I'm telling you to do? But it's just such a weird, dichotomy to, like, how do I show them that they'll be appreciated if they do what I need them to do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, no, definitely. I think it's harder to retain good people, and I think it all stems from management, and really having good management, which I see that you have within your company. And I think, I always look at it, if someone's leaving, I always look at the manager to, hey, how'd you fail them? Like, what are you learning from this? And I think there's always a lesson to be learned, and that lesson to be learned isn't always the path traveled. It's kind of like the path least traveled, essentially. And a lot of it has to do with, I don't feel appreciated. I can make more doing less over here. I can do this. And it's that
The grass
quick
is always
instant.
greener.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that mentality. And
Yeah.
I feel like with the younger generation, there isn't that emotional connection. Like, they don't owe loyalty to anyone. And they're just like looking out for me, myself, and I, which has great qualities in that. But at the same time, every company wants to hire somebody with the morals and values of what our parents had, where they would have one job for their whole life. That just isn't the economy and the job market that we're in now, which has pros and cons, right? Like, there's jobs here that were never even available before, when we were growing up as kids,
Yeah.
like, Apple came around, what, early, like, they've been around for a while, but successful Apple came around when we were in like sixth grade,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, we were
so
the generation that had no internet, saw the
yeah,
internet, and then saw the internet take off and remember it.
yeah. And
So
remember it.
you're
Yeah,
talking 1990s, the early 90s,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
I remember when Apple donated all their first laptops, and they donated it to our school, and we all got a laptop, and it was just insane because we had these big monstrous computers at home, and then we have these like slim, you know, little laptops,
Or
and
computer class, right? Like, there's actually a class with that was the only
yeah,
classroom with
yeah,
computers in it, and now they all
yeah.
go to high school with laptops.
It's insane. It's insane. And so I think now that, there's more information, it's more readily available where people can get their resources, it provides more opportunity. And with
Yeah.
that provides, a different outlook to look at, you know, and marketing to employees to keep them to stay, marketing to customers to get them to, be loyal to you and your brand or your services, and
Double-edged sword a little bit, isn't it?
it is.
Because
It
you can take
is.
advantage of it, but also it's very easy if you're not taking advantage of it to lose it. It's like the people
100%.
that don't have a website, right? There's plenty of
Yep.
companies, plenty of shops that I know don't have a website, and like, I don't need it. What?
And you're like, what? You need it. 100%. I
Well,
mean,
if you're gonna market it all, because it's like, where's all your marketing dollars going? Like, if you don't have a website, then why are you even spending money on marketing? Because are you just promoting your phone number? And then how do you even know that they're calling you based on that ad? So there's no ad tracking at all, right? And so what's the point of even marketing if you don't have some sort of funnel to funnel them through? It
can I
doesn't make
tell
any
you?
sense to me.
So, industry thing. Okay. So, back before I started in the industry I'm in the manufacturing industry of concrete products, building materials. The company I work for is the biggest company you've never heard of. That's the inside joke, because a lot of our infrastructure side of the business, it's the roads you drive on, it's the infrastructure down below in the grounds, the sewer, the pipes, all that fun stuff. Um, and One of the things that they used to do back in the day for marketing, which I'm sure you kind of remember this, was they, like you said, how are they even tracking this? So, what they would do is they'd have a number on their vehicle that was really popular, the vehicle that they drive around every day. And the vehicle on their number was an 800 number of some sort. And that 800 number would be tracked by the amount of leads. But these leads would only be justified by the person who answered the phone and closed that deal. And that's how these leads would come. But how would you know if it wasn't, some people would use that number as like the number to call you if they had a question.
Yeah, they'd
It
write it
wasn't,
down or save it in their phone or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, there wasn't phones back then. It was like pay phones or like landlines, right? Like these were all landline situations, right? Like, I mean, that's how far marketing evolved, where like you'd have to ask them, or hey, every phone number that calls from this, they got it from the truck, because that number was only the truck. And then they had a different landline for their main business. Um and a lot of the times it was print and newspaper. That's
The phone book.
that's the yeah, phone book,
In the
newspaper,
days of
like
having A's in your name, right?
I
Triple A. Triple A
yeah.
whatever.
For sure. So I think we've come a long way, and with all the tools and the internet being, kind of an like the only thing constant on the internet is change. I mean, I don't know if you saw Google Analytics even change their platform
Yeah, with the Google Trends.
recently. Yep. So it's like everything is evolving and more information is being exposed. But being in California, there's a lot of privacy laws that we have to look at, and there's even more information being spread in other states that legally, that we're not privy to here in California. But I mean, the way that it has evolved, I mean, I find it fascinating when I hear that people don't have a website. You know, I just think it's the easiest free tool, you know,
Yeah,
that
and
you can have for your
it's tough
business.
because I don't know. It's almost like you don't like need it, right? It's one of those things where it's like I'm just on the fence as far as like if you actually like need it, like you got to have it. But as far as like marketing, it is kind of like an older style. But
Yeah.
it's that funnel, right? Like you have to have something that you're funneling it all to, so so you can track it on the analytics, so you can track it on the what's going on, and it helps with Google Trends across the country to know who's searching for what. Because without a valid
Hmm.
website, Google doesn't even look at you, and it's just yeah, it just blows me away. Like I don't understand it. And
I
then they'll
mean,
do Facebook ads or oh, what about Google ads? Is like you doing Google ads without a website? What's the point? Like that's not like a plan,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a website is definitely mandatory for any business. It's a visibility and reach kind of situation. Like the website, especially in the auto business, it provides that visibility online and makes sure it's easier for potential customers to find you when they search for whatever they're searching for, whether that be repair, they have questions, they need, anything, right? Like emergency services, whatever. Um, I it also helps as far as a place that you can provide information and education. Like maybe there's certain things that people come into that you're like, this could be an easy DIY situation or DIY situation where they can
Yeah.
come in and, you know, you can do this yourself. You don't need me. And that circles back to educating people while also providing them information where they can form a connection with you to
Well,
trust you,
and
you
just on
know?
that note too, like with blog posts, right? So if someone's
Mm-hmm.
googling something or even on YouTube and they're looking,
Yep.
hey, how do I, in your situation, put down pavers? How do I, whatever the
Yep.
landscape thing they're doing, or if they're looking, hey, how do I replace the U joints in my drive shaft? If you have a blog post on your website, that pulls up, right? That ranks you super high, and then you click on it, and they send you right to the website, and they're like, oh, cool, and they can read the little blog post and move on with their day. And the same with I've had a lot of YouTube shorts, a lot of YouTube video, a lot of social media stuff where it's like just putting that relevant information out that people are looking for, then they find you, and that, like, well, they might get their answer, but they're probably going to get stuck in the middle of it and not want to have to deal with it anyway, so they're going to call you to have it do it anyway, right? I
Right,
mean, we all
right.
get curious and we're all like, I can do that myself, and that just eventually evolves into finding out that it's a little bit more than you really want to do, because you still have a full-time job and a family and everything else going, like, I'm just going to let these guys do it. It's just
Yeah.
easier that
Yeah.
way.
No, I completely understand.
Yeah.
So it's all about credibility, right? And providing that customer engagement and convenience, side of whatever they're looking for. When I go and search for things, if they don't have a website or it looks sketch, I'm like, they don't have a website. I'm not gonna. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like I'm automatically out. Like that's just a major red flag to me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be able to see who, like, connect in some sort, and I feel like a story, it's a great place to place your story of how you were created, what's your MO, so that you can build that trust amongst, people, because I feel like there's this negative connotation of the auto industry.
Oh yeah.
And especially being a woman who knows zilch about cars. I mean, I know how to change a tire. I
Well,
know how to
you got
change
a
my
Toyota
oil if
Corolla
I
that's
need
been on the
to.
road for like a
Oh,
hundred years,
yes.
so
Yes. Yeah, peep this. I'm part of the 200,000 mile high club. Okay. Thank you. Round of applause. Can you do like clapping to
we go
that?
like golf clap for sure.
Yeah, golf clap for
It's
that.
been like 20, 25 years that car's been on the road, so you got to be
Yeah,
doing something right.
and honestly, it's been as easy as just simple maintenance. Like I know nothing about cars, and I have based it on going to people I trust, asking questions to people I can trust. And, like you're the only family I have in the car industry. And you're nowhere near me. I'm in Las Vegas. You're in Atascadero, Atascadero,
Pass Robles,
Los Paso Robos. Okay, Paso Robos. Um,
Robles,
Robles,
yeah, like roll
bowls,
bowls.
roll bowls.
Some might say Robles, but that's not how you say it. We're not no. That's not Robles.
No, no,
It's
no.
Robles, like with a
Robles.
W.
Okay. And so with
Okay.
that being said, I mean, I I just see that if I can do it, anyone can do it, and that's just based off like doing research, not putting yourself in a position to where you have to make a decision you're not comfortable with. There's always time, even in emergencies, you know. And yeah, I know, even though I don't know anything, I do know something because I got Google.
Yeah,
And
that helps.
Google has not let me down thus far. And
Do you
and
think?
and you trust your instincts,
Yeah. Do you think part of it is like the way we were raised for like consumerism? Like we're really been trained as consumers to just spend way more time researching stuff than I think any other generation or anything before us, right? Where you like look on something on Amazon and then you're like eBay and then you're Googling it and then you're checking like it's just like one thing, right? Like you just need one thing for the house and you're checking like 6, 7, 8, 9 different sources before you eventually just, oh, I saved $5 getting it from eBay instead of Amazon or vice versa or whatever, right? And so we're just like in this trained mentality that everything is price based and we'll just spend so much time trying to negotiate for that extra 80 cents because it like just gives us that little win, right? And I feel like that really I feel like that really translates over to like the service industries, which doesn't work the same way, right? But we're like trained that way to try to like find that, oh, we got Google, right? Like I'm going to find out how much this is supposed to be and I'm going to make sure I get the best deal I can. And not to say like what you said was negative by any ways, but it breeds over into the service industries, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
realize if you pay, if you pay for a good service, you won't have to worry about it, right? Like you got to do your
Exactly.
research, make sure they're legit, make sure they're not ripping you off. But if you go somewhere that's maybe not the most expensive, but definitely don't go to the cheapest, right? Like you find that middle ground,
Right.
or even if you go to the most expensive one with the highest warranty, and it's like you go back there and it's like they take care of you. Hey, I had
Yeah.
XYZ done, and now it's like, hey, no problem. Give me the keys. We got it taken care of for you. I'll have it done back to you by the end of the day, right? You go to the lube
Mm-hmm.
shop that's the cheapest in town. Something goes wrong. It's like, oh, I'll get you back in 2 weeks, right? Like,
Yeah. Right.
And it's like, well, where's my service? Like, well, you didn't pay for service. You paid for the cheapest price. You paid for the economy.
Right. 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 And that's why I refuse to go there. And look, my car has shown test of time. Like I don't take it just a Joe Schmo to take my car and trust that. Like I still haven't found a mechanic here in Las Vegas. Not because I'm pricing around. It has nothing to do with price, but everything to do with what you just said about service. And that honestly is the most important thing to me. And same with consumer products. I shout out to my dad. I feel like my dad spends a lot of time doing exactly what you said, shopping around, trying to get that same price. I mean, it'll take him a year to buy a TV, and I'm like, Dad, just buy the TV, you know. Um, but but when it comes to consumer goods, I look for fast, reliable service with if something's not working, I get something that's sent to me that isn't right, like I need to be able to get the right product in a timely manner, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like Amazon really has changed that on the consumer side of things.
Yeah.
Um, the way that they deal with their customer service, I think everyone else expects that, and that's where that trickle comes down. But when it comes to service, I by any means. I don't go to the cheapest nail salon. I don't go to the cheapest hair salon. I don't go, all my services where like it's more than just like here buy.
Someone coming to your
Um,
house to fix something.
yeah, someone coming in the house, like it isn't, it's more like I need the best service. And I went, speaking of service coming into the house, I had HVAC, plumbing, and heater company come in. I chose the best in Las Vegas, the ones that deal with a lot of really, really high end commercial products. They were the most expensive out there. But I chose them based on a campaign that they were going, and I appreciate good marketing, so that reeled me in. And they were responsive and receptive, and they were great, great, great. And when they came out, I wasn't hyped on the service aspect of it. There were some aspects that fell apart, and being in the marketing side of things, I think I have a higher expectation when I look at things, but also an understanding as well on how to provide constructive feedback that doesn't bash or ruin a company, but really helps to encourage them like, hey, you didn't do this great. You're losing me as a customer, but maybe you can learn so you don't do this to another residential homeowner,
Yeah.
you know?
I think that's a big lesson for everyone to really take in. And everyone hates Google reviews. Everyone hates the 1 stars, and everyone hates the people that come back. And
Mhm.
but like, you got to realize, for every one that actually tells you, there's probably 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 others that just
Yeah.
don't want to deal with that, and they just move on, right? And you're wondering,
Yep.
how come my retention low? How come I'm not getting anybody coming back, right? What am I doing
Yep.
wrong? It's like, well, you're not listening.
And listening is very challenging, right? Like it is case by case. It is, you have to take that in. But i I strongly feel like people capitalize on those opportunities, especially, I tend to go more of a passive way. I won't publicize it. I reach out to the manager. I provide the feedback, and I just hope that they don't it gets solved moving forward.
Yeah.
And it's never an individual like based, it's always a system with me. Like people are so kind most of the time, right? It's never the individual themselves, it's always the system. And what I mean by that is there's processes that happen that I feel like are a little clunky, and can be worked out or fixed or changed, and to make the experience better. And so that's where I really kind of draw line. And I really don't like when people are late. That's what really gets me, when
Yeah.
I have to wait, 3 weeks to have somebody come out. I mean, this is obviously just like a checkup, so that's why it's a 3-week timeline. It isn't like it just has to be done within a certain season.
Yeah, there's just conveniences that need to be. And it's an internal thing. Like you got to take
Yeah,
those
yeah,
things and take those situations and think internally as a business, like how what can we make more convenient, right?
yep,
And so
yep,
like I wanted to ask you on that, like what do you look for when you are shopping around for like an auto shop? What are things that really attract you? Because that's the hard thing to do, right? As an auto
yep,
shop, you figure it's all the same. And everyone thinks the prices are the same. Price for a brake job is going to be a price for a brake
no,
job, but it's not,
yeah.
right? Like it's all different. So what is it that you're looking for?
I'm looking for a story. I'm looking for who they are to the community, what do they represent. Those are some aspects that are important to me. I don't want to just go to
You mean you don't
anyone.
wanna know that they're ASE certified master technicians and they do the best brakes in the whole world? You mean that's not how we
Really?
market?
Really?
Like, and
No,
all our guys go to training at least 4 times a year, and they all have huge toolboxes with $100,000 worth of tools in them.
I
Isn't
think
that
those
the best thing in the world?
I think those are already expectations.
That's like shots fired right there, huh?
Yeah,
I
it
th
is. I I
I think
I
I just got
think
half the listeners to, like, cringe a little bit.
I mean, honestly, I don't know what tools cost. I don't know what
But you
these
don't care
classes
either.
provide, and I don't
But
care. I'm hiring your services to fix my car, and I want to be able to trust you so I can bring it back and I don't have to ever shop around again.
yeah.
Shopping around for services is not something you want to do every time something goes wrong with, you know, your car, your tires. I have been a loyal customer to America Tires, which is now Discount Tires here in Las Vegas, but
Mhm.
I've been loyal to them because I've never, since the moment 16, I am now 34 for everyone listening. I have been going to America Tires and which Discount Tire, whatever, their entity, and I've never once had an issue. And yeah, sometimes you have to wait a little bit, but that's the service that you pay for. That's why it is, the price the way that it is.
Yeah.
And I've never had an issue. They've always done a phenomenal job. They've always been really kind and transparent. Um, I mean, even to the point where like I couldn't bring in my car and the guy's like, don't worry about it. Just you got someone to help you. Can you take your tire off? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I can't take the tire off. I can just bring in the tire. And he's like, yeah, bring in the tire. We got it. We'll take care of it. And then
Yeah.
you can drop it off and pick it up after work. Like they have been great. And so like that type of stuff is
Makes it
kind of
they make it easy to do business.
yes,
They
yes.
give you the
And
solutions to your problems, even though it might just seem common sense to the rest of us, right?
yes,
And this,
yes.
like you said, the systems and processes, all they do is tires, right?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
so they don't go outside the lines. This is what we do it well, and they
Yep.
have it down.
Yep.
The expectations are there, right? There's nothing that changes, which makes it easy for them. So in the service industry, in the auto industry, like not a whole lot to go wrong with tires. You price the tires, they come
Yep.
in, they buy the tires, and that the price
So
isn't really
simple.
going to change, right? But that's important, like with all services. Like if you quote something, make sure the processes are in place to make sure that if there's a change, you're notified as the consumer well before like
Right.
the fires started, right? Like
Yep.
we're running into a little bit of a snag right now. Just wanted to notify you before things go sideways. Might be a little, and then we'll get back to you with the difference. But that's all it takes, right?
Mhm. Mhm. And you mentioned something earlier that sticks, which is really circling back to you hired them for a service. And so, like, if I was to hire your company for a service, I'm going in knowing that. And it's like, what else can you offer? Like, I'm hiring you for that. Okay. Is it just that? Or is it, like, hey, on your fifth time in, we'll give you a free evaluation or whatever, it may be. Or like we can look at whatever those rewards. So I think like marketing wise, like it's always cool to see like what extra can I get by you after we've already kind of built that trust,
Yeah, like
you
rewards
know?
programs.
Rewards programs, loyalty, like to kind of that retention, like I don't know if I haven't priced tires out ever, to be honest. I've been going to America's Tire my whole life, don't know. Um, but I've never had to price out. Like I never felt like I felt like, hey, this is an expense. If it goes up, I just write off that, hey, tires are now this price instead of this price. And
Yeah.
that's just what I budget for. And, I don't have a reason. And they kind of circle back, they check in, I get reminders for, hey, your service is due, whatever, whatever, right? Um, and so stuff like that, like providing those services to retain them, to make them, hey, just a reminder, we did this service for you, did you want to look back at anything else? Or I don't know, like I don't know much about cars, as you can probably tell, but but
You know how to find
you know,
yourself some good tires, though.
I guess
I can
so. I
find the
guess
good
so.
tires.
But you know what I mean? Like I didn't
Yeah.
price
Well,
around for tires. I
yeah,
priced
retention.
I got service,
Yeah. Retention is obviously, I mean, that's a topic I wanted to get into because that's a big one.
Yeah.
And it has everything to do with marketing, right? Because what's the
Yep.
point of spending money if you can't have a client that comes back. Now, in your industry, is that something that you market for? I mean, I feel like, and that's the same thing. We had that same
Heavily.
parallel, right? Like, and I just assumed, like, with a lot of like home services, that there is no retention programs, right? Like HVAC or plumbing. It's like if someone's got a leak, they call a plumber, and then hopefully you don't have a leak for like 10 years, right? So what's the point of doing retention, right? But then what if the toilet gets plugged, right? What if the sink gets
Mhm.
plugged? What if the garbage
Mhm.
disposal goes out? Like there's so many other things that I think you were mentioning. There's like there's a lot of other things that pop up that we want to make sure we're always front of the mind. So it's like even with landscape, I want to redo my whole front yard. And I'm like, well, what else would they possibly need? They did the landscape and now you're on to the next new acquisition customer. But you're like, no, no, no. We got to retain them too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So like for your industry, if you look at the customers that you get, like you do a great job and someone goes, hey, who helped you with that problem you had last week? Or hey, do you know a good guy? That's how you that's how you retain your customers, is
Yeah.
really off of word of mouth and making sure you do that follow up. Hey, were you satisfied? Can you help provide any feedback on how to make your experience better? Those little things they may not ever tell you. They may never. It There's something that I like to call silent marketing, and we do a lot of. It happens a lot in our industry because we deal with a lot of partners and dealers and vendors and contractors and architects and designers and engineers and build-in designers, and a lot of the time they don't ever respond, but they read it. And so you just have to have that one sentence hook to hook them in to read the rest. And they don't have to respond. By them just reading it, they've read your service, and that they know if they ever have a problem that they could reach out and that the door will always be open. And so sometimes, and that's that silent part of marketing, you're silently marketing to them that, hey, how was your service? We'd love to hear your feedback. Your opinion matters to us. And everybody likes to be heard, even though they don't, may be shy or may not want to say or have the time, right, to respond back and say,
Hmm.
hey, this is how I feel, whatever, whatever. But the fact that you asked and just planted that seed, like, oh, they care, like, oh, okay, that's great, I'm glad
As
they
as
asked.
long as long as it's genuine though, right?
Correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has to be the right situation. So like you said about, you know our industry, where we have, typically a lot of our clients are one time use, right? They have, maybe you'll get a second time use. So we have our bread and butter is our hardscaping in the front yard. You got driveway, walkways, stairways, all that fun stuff, retaining walls, fencing, stuff of that nature. But then we hope to win the backyard eventually when they have, maybe money, time, resources, all of that jazz. So that's kind of why we always, you know, try to focus on that retention. And also too is we want the experience to be a positive experience. So our goal is really to let our main purpose is so that everybody can live outside well. And our goal is to be the whole backyard. So, and that means if you're not just looking for hardscape, if you're looking for softscapes like landscaping, or, if you're looking for decking, providing that as an option, or fencing or lighting, it's really encompasses everything. Hey, you need pool work, hey, reach out to us. We got a company for you, um and so encompassing all that, we have a lot to retain with our customers that they may not know that we offer. And so and we don't know how they came to know about us, right? That's the thing about marketing, is you do a lot of marketing and sometimes you don't know every customer and how they came your way, especially because we sell through distribution. We're a B2B business. And so it makes kind of finding those analytics a little more challenging. Whereas for you, it's a little easier because you're dealing, B2C. You got straight to that consumer and you can ask them any question you want, which is very valuable information at your fingertips. And it's just how you use it. And that's how, with marketing, it's just how you use that valuable information that you're getting, through capturing these, generating leads, right? Or I guess it starts with branding. Then you generate leads, which turn into sales, which then give you insights to your analytics. It's just like it comes full circle. And
Yeah.
then once it comes to that analytics, that's not all. Where's that retention to bring you right back up to that next branding lead, And so I just think it's really, really important that I think a lot of companies miss is that follow up. One thing that we do a lot of is surveying. We do a lot of surveys and we just say, hey, you got anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. We'd love to hear how we could have made your experience better. And it's super important to make it as easy as possible and as transparent as possible so they don't feel like they got to go through a lot of questions. Um, and you never make anything mandatory, or else people will be like, I didn't want to fill that out. Forget it. I'm out. You know? Um, so you always make it just whatever you're willing to share, we'll take.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of success among that. Um, but yeah, those are just some of the ways that we've seen a
Yeah,
lot
you
of
said
success.
the one thing you keep bringing up is the experience. And I
Hmm.
think that's what's really missed a lot. And that's what we want. That's what you want. That's what I mean, whether you think so or not. You when you go somewhere, you want an experience. When you buy
Yep.
something online, when you open that box up, you want an experience. Like it's just like this psychological thing, right? And it's like, how do I give a better experience? And then you brought up the fact that we have the consumers in our office, right? Like at our disposal to ask these questions, and we
Hmm.
don't. Like it's not a fun conversation, and it's almost like cold calling. Like I don't want to like call people all day. That's like terrible, right? But it's true when you deal from the aspect when you're B2B or business to business, you
Hmm.
don't get to see the final end product and you don't get that feedback that could be so critical in helping marketing. And for you just doing the marketing aspect, you're like, man, I want to get my teeth into that, right? As the owner
Hmm.
of the shop, it's like, uh, I'm busy this week, so I think I'm doing all right, right? Like, and I put my marketing hat on 2 hours or 3 hours a week, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
I'll do my thing, and then all right, back now, put my next hat on, right? And so I
Yep.
don't really spend a lot of time and I don't really see that that aspect of it. So it's interesting because it's like I do have the exact person that I'm marketing towards literally in
Hmm.
my office right now. I could
Hmm.
ask all the questions to, and I just don't. And I'm sitting here scratching my head wondering how do I get the next one, right? And it's like, well, the answer could be right there if you go ask the right questions.
Correct. Correct. And obviously you can automate a lot of that too. After everyone comes, you swipe their card, it's completed, and then boom, in 24 hours, they get a follow up email or whatever that may look at,
Yeah.
and then depending on, how much foot traffic you get, if you feel like, sometimes there's customers that, like, hey, I probably need to see you again within a certain amount of time. Like, setting up that follow up and just making them a priority, I think is important. And, unfortunately, that's what salespeople are for, not the owner. But prior to me working for the company I work now, I worked for a family owned business. And in that family owned business, same industry, hardscape building products. And in this family owned business, the president would answer phone calls, would run outside to help a customer if there was a customer out there. He's like, no, 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 I got it. Let me do this. Like, he wanted to go talk to people. And he was the first person to help me with marketing initiatives. He believed in me. They never had marketing within their company, because they were small business with big dollars, right? And um, And I convinced him, I'm saying, look, please let me help you. Let me help you. Like, I can do this. Like, I went to school for this. Like, I know I can. And he was the first person to help me, get to where I needed to be while also getting the company to where they needed to be. And I think it was the first time I really opened his eyes that, like, hey, we don't need to have a budget. Like, our budget was nothing compared to our competitors. We were competing with national businesses that, were were, their income was, tons and tons greater than ours,
Right.
but we owned our market, and we owned our market for a reason. We were not the most or the cheapest product on the shelves. We were actually the most expensive by a lot, and so with that, it just shows how important service is. And that was what we pride ourselves on, is service, and how can we capitalize on other people's marketing. So for the shops out there that don't have a big marketing spend, or in your case, a lot of time and hours to be putting in, it's, I kind of ask yourself is, how can you capitalize on other auto, shops and what they do, and how you can kind of bring that to the table. And that's what I did, is I looked at what they were doing, because I knew we could never spend what they could, right? Like, they had millions of dollars for their budget, and I had my salary and maybe, 50,000 for the year. That's nothing when I'm printing catalogs 2 times a year. Um, and we're printing 50,000 catalogs, and it's in all the marketing material to even make sure we stay relevant and our names are on the shelves,
Plus
because
the thousands of products that are on the shelves that you have to put.
exactly. So it's kind of like, I had to really sit down and analyze, okay, we're never going to have that, so I can't compete with that. But what I can do is, when consumers and customers see their ads and see their marketing campaigns, where are they going to buy the products? And I saw that they were going to distribution, because that's what we do. And we had mutual distribution centers, where, a distribution center would sell multiple brands. So I looked at that and I said, okay, I know what we're going to do. We're going to invest a lot of time having our sales reps meet all the dealers' needs, beck and call, whatever they needed. They had basically their one-on-one sales rep to be in there at their door to provide this service that I know this national company could not maintain. But we could,
So
on the ground.
a more personalized service direct
A
to
more
consumer.
personal, yes. And that's what we did. And the relationships that we built, I mean, we were the preferred dealer in the top 3 largest dealers in Northern California. And, we made it very difficult for a lot of our competitors to come into our market. Um, Granted, we were a small, Northern California 200-mile radius ish. We tried to stay within the territory that we could service. If somebody in Oregon called us and said, hey, and this is where integrity and honesty is so important in all lines of work and personal life, is really making sure that, hey, can I give them the same service in Oregon as I can the guy in San Jose? No. So I need to do what's right. And what's right is to be like, hey, let me give you some contacts in Oregon. There's some great products out there. Unfortunately, that's out of our sales territory. If you really want our product, you can purchase through one of our dealers down here, but unfortunately we're unable to service you. So I want you to be able to have, what you deserve for what you pay for, by purchasing a good product that is, you know, that is in your territory. And we
Yeah,
would
that's
give
just like
competitor
stepping
stuff.
out of your lane, right? Like
Yeah.
just do what you do and don't
Mhm. Yep.
overcomplicate yourself.
And we would do that with SoCal. Like, we would do that many times with LA, Orange County. There's plenty of building material manufacturers that down that way, and we never stepped in that territory. We always direct competitors, but always gave them the business, because that's without we wanted to excel in one thing, and that is service. And ultimately that circled back to being successful based off a family owned and operated business, where we had to provide a value since we knew um, we weren't the cheapest product out there. So
Value add.
we had to create
You had to
a
have a, you
value
had to have a
add.
value add,
Mm-hmm.
and that is so. It's just crazy how much that resonates and relates to all services, but specifically the auto industry as well,
Yeah.
because your door rate, right? Everyone wants to raise your rates. Everyone wants to have a
Yep.
higher hourly rate, so then you can pay your technicians more, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
starting guys at 45, $50 an hour. If your door rate's $150 an hour, um, well, you add 15 on top for the government, right? You're almost splitting your door rate with your top guy, right? And you
Right.
can't do that. You can't be sustainable, so you need to raise your rates. Well, if you raise your rates and you have the same services you did before, most of your clients are going to come in and expect a price and expect a service, and it's not going to be there anymore, right? Because now the price has gone up
Right.
but the service hasn't gone up either. But if they walk in and it smells a little nicer, it's a little bit cleaner, they got Fiji water in the refrigerator, right?
Uh-huh.
Like that's all
Yep.
it takes. Like, oh, it's a little bit nicer in here, and then they get the bill and it's a little bit higher. Oh, well, I guess that makes sense, right? And just like value add, like
Yep.
answer your phone call, like call you a couple times a day, let you know how the progress is going. So if you add a little bit more of a price, how do you value add? How do we match that price to make sure people are still comfortable with it?
What are you currently doing now to be a value add to your customers?
Lots. I mean, it's ever evolving, right? And like as the
Yeah.
marketing goes on and as we continue to fine tune the numbers, it's adding it's adding communication, right? Having two service advisors, making sure that we're doing calls the day before the appointment, right? Making sure that
Great. Yes, that's so
dur-
important.
during yeah, hey, just so you let you know, you made an appointment and it's
Yes.
tomorrow, so don't forget. And then we shoot them a text and shoot them an email, like
Yeah.
that alone, like it's like that's part of the SOP, part of our procedures for the advisors in the office to go through, right? During the day, if we don't have an update, if we're working through this project and we are all know like, hey, so this is a 10-hour job, we're going to have it for a couple days, just want to let you know we're starting it tomorrow, right? Well, at the end of tomorrow, you're going to get a phone call. Hey, I know we discussed that you're not getting your car back today, but just want to let you know we're making good progress on it, and I'll let you be in contact tomorrow. Another big one. It's a no update is what we call it, right? When they come
Okay.
in,
Yep.
make sure it's clean, make sure like you answer the phone with a smile. Like it's important little things that like make sure that the phone calls are always answered, that there's always communication, that we're calling before they call us. And that's a big one, right? And using text,
Yep.
email, we just added a new um, scheduler where you can click, on Google, you can schedule and it pops up, and actually you can schedule online without having to call anybody. I mean, in the auto industry, it is just crazy. You'd be blown away how many new technologies are being put out there to try to
Mm-hmm.
make the experience better, for one. So part of our
Mm-hmm.
experience is like having the digital vehicle inspection. When we look at your car, we take pictures of everything, we write everything down, but then you have access to that repair order at live
Yep.
while we're going through it. So you can actually see, hey, they took 4 pictures of my car. They took a picture of what's broken. Oh, that component, see, it's broken. There's 3 pictures. This is what it's supposed to look like. This is how much to fix that to make it look like that. And that's what you see on your phone in real time. And then you can approve that service, or you can say, no, I'll wait for later. And you don't have to talk to anybody. You can just approve it right there on the phone.
Yeah. And that circles back to what I said about the trust, and finding a place that you can trust is having that transparency, while also not having the pressure. Or I guess you'd say you're fostering the transparency, right? And
Yeah.
the trust. And by allowing your customer to make that decision without feeling the pressure of like someone literally standing there and they're just like, okay, like that's an important factor. And the fact that you're adding that value add, I see that being very, very successful in your industry.
Now, one big thing too with marketing is like you can make the phone ring, right? But if you're not able to capture that lead, so if you don't have someone that's answering the phone after you do that marketing the
Hmm.
correct way, that's another big problem too, right? And just
Hmm.
like you said with the pressure, we do this. I mean, we run through 20 cars a day. So it's just a
Hmm.
process over and over and over and over. But for you coming in, this is the first time you've been in a year, first time you've been in maybe 2 years, right? So it's
Yeah.
all new.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of disconnect, I think, happens too. Do you see that as a problem as well when you're marketing and then you get these leads, but then they don't convert? Is that an issue?
Oh yes. I mean, that's always going to be um that's always going to be a challenge. Um and I think the best way to overcome that is to continue evolving and changing your approaches, whether that's, you know, in your case it would be, you know, extending service hours, like finding ways to engage with these people to convert that lead, right? Like, okay, give me an example so that I can
No, it's interesting. It's interesting you said that
relate.
because that is one, like extending the hours, being open on Saturday. It's a lot of things like that. And just like you said, like you nailed it. How do I make it easier? Or how do I capture those leads? Because you can be marketing to them, but they don't get off till 5:30, or
Right.
they need an early drop off. Like I go to work at 7. How am I supposed to get my car there? Go make it easy. Have loaner cars. Have
Mm-hmm.
ways of shuttle services. Open every other Saturday maybe. And I think that's a big one that's lost too, because we want to be open. We want our weekends, right? But then
Yeah.
you're also
Yeah.
looking at marketing. How do I capture more leads? Well, be open a Saturday and see how that works out. And that's an interesting thing that you said that, because that's one of the things that in this industry we're talking about as well. A lot of guys are going to for 410s. That's a big one, right? We talked about that,
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
the schedule to 410s to retain more employees. Well, what about the clients though? Like, so if you're only open 4 days a week and you're missing Friday and Saturday, there's a lot of opportunity you're missing there. So maybe rotate that schedule, right? So you're open
No,
eight
for
days a week,
sure.
but you have crews that are there for 4 days. Things like that outside of the box. So it's like,
When's your most busy day?
oh, through the week, Mondays would probably be by far. I mean, usually the weekend kills a lot of cars.
Okay. Okay. So then it seems like it wouldn't hurt to not be open on the weekend, you know, and maybe take an approach of, you know, vocalizing, surveying, you know, like why you have the hours you have, you know, like
Yeah.
nobody really knows. They just assume, oh, they're not open. That's weird. But, you know, it's like, no, we take pride in our employees and, you know, we want to support our employees' initiatives to having a personal life while at work, while also, you know, for their mental health as well. And I'm sure it's very relatable to your community that, you know, knowing why you do certain things is also important, you
So
know?
instead of having just your hours posted, you would put a message. We're closed on the weekends because X, Y, and Z.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah.
And
Rotate
that
just
would
so
that would
they
resonate that would
know.
resonate with you, right? As a consumer, if you're looking around
Yeah,
and then you're like, "Oh, they're closed on Saturday. That's my only day." But if you're like, "Oh, we're closed on Saturdays because our employees like to take their kids to the soccer game."
exactly. And then they're like, oh, wow, this company cares about their employees like that? Shit, I wish mine did. You know, like stuff like that. I mean, you know,
Maybe I'll
can you
wait till
test on
Monday.
this? Sorry.
Maybe I'll wait till
Yeah,
Monday.
maybe I'll wait till Monday. Or, you know, like you have like, I
And
don't
that's that
know.
silent marketing you're talking about, because you don't have no
Yes.
idea that just worked. Yeah.
Yes. And it's but it's impactful, you know, and it's like, hey, I called you on Saturday, but I guess you guys aren't open for, you know, because your employees want to take their kids. I
Now
like
that's
that. Or,
interesting. You put
you
that
know,
as your message on the weekends.
yeah, yeah. Like you
That's
can
interesting.
there's a way to
I think I'm
kind of
actually gonna use that.
there's a way
I just
to
learned
relate.
something.
We got to humanize all these businesses, you know, like they're all up, but at the end of the day, they're just everyday people like you and me, not knowing shit about cars and needing someone who does know everything about cars and who is the expert. I always tell my boyfriend, I always go, I can't be good at everything. Okay? So there's some things that I'm just going to have to outsource. And the car is one thing. And so it's like when you outsource, you just want to know that you have that relationship, that you can trust whoever you're with, that they're good people, you know, like everyone likes to give back to their community. I know you guys do a lot of work within your community. I
Yeah.
think that is awesome. I think it's important, and people got to always, it's hard because we get lost in time and being busy. I mean, everybody says busy, busy, busy. I use that excuse with you all the time. I'm so busy, right? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's like we're all just people, and we're trying to live the best life we can. And how can we do that together? By recognizing that there's more to life than always working, 8 to 6, maintain job just to pay your bills and wake up and do it all over again.
Yeah.
And I think bringing it down to that community level is so important. And that's something I try so hard, considering we are such a big national company. I try so hard to relate it to that homeowner, relate it to um, even the homeowner, but even to our customers, like how it's like we're all people, and whenever someone gets upset, it's like, it's just concrete,
Yeah.
you know,
Well, just
like
like anything, it's just a car. It's just
it's just a
it's just your
car.
meal.
Like,
Like
you have
no,
your
yeah,
health, you have,
yeah,
you have the six senses, like being pregnant, you know. I really realized I was very appreciative of my mobility, that I promised myself I would never take that for granted, being able to wake up, and at that point I was rolling out of bed barely. But now getting up and getting out of bed, I'm like, wow, this is so easy compared to before. Like, I'm so grateful for those little things that you just wake up every day just assuming you're going to have.
yeah,
I think it's always important to bring marketing back to just being honest and truthful and transparent. And sometimes you get lost in the foo-foo and the, this is where who we want to be, but it's like, just be who you got to be, like who you are. Like,
yeah.
don't
That's
front it,
huge
be who
because you
you
can't get
are.
away with that forever.
No, no, no. And not only success, like, I'm sure, like eventually at some point, that's where I feel like a lot of turnover happens too, is like, you lose faith in the people that are working for you, they lose faith into you. Then, what does that look like to other people? Like, oh, what happened to John? He's been, where did he go? Or what happened to, Rose? Like, where is she? Like, and when you're like, oh, she's no longer here, like, they don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
They want to hear that she's on vacation with her daughter who just got married. Like, they want
Yeah,
to hear
but
the
it
happy
goes
story.
back like you said, like we all want to work and we all want to outwork each other. And so it's so I had a hard time just taking lunch for a long time, right? Like I've said this multiple
Yeah.
times on the show. Like I
Yep.
just can't like I'd go out and eat my lunch real quick in the car or I'd go hide in the corner and like eat as fast as I can. So no one saw me stopping. Like I work 10 hours a day. I'm here before anybody else. I leave after everybody else. And like I like a badge of honor, right? Like I'm the hardest working one here, right? And if I go on
Who was the
vacation,
badge of honor for?
yeah, exactly. And it's like if I go on vacation, it was like, oh, I'm going to a technical seminar. I'm going to go learn. I'm not going on vacation. Like, so it was like this weird thing of, and it's I still do it. Like it's, and I feel like a lot of people do it. Like they want that badge of honor to let everyone know I'm working all the time. I'm never taking a break, right?
Hmm.
And it's just interesting because more often than not, the people that you're trying to project that to would actually be happier for you if you were like, actually, I'm going to Fiji for a week to go enjoy myself. Right. I had a really good
100%.
year and I'm going on vacation. Like, that's awesome, man. Like, we don't like it's so weird because I would be happy if I heard that from a business that I did business with. Like, right on,
Yeah.
dude. You're taking all your guys to go to vacation. And meanwhile, he's thinking, "Oh, I got to make sure I tell him it's a technical seminar." I'm like, "Oh, that sucks. You're just going all the way to Fiji just to work again." Like, it's just weird, isn't it? Like, it's
Yes.
so strange.
Yes. And I feel like maybe that's an opportunity, like what I do with my employees, it's an opportunity for empowerment. Hey, I'm going to go to lunch. Like, this is your turn. You empower employees to take leads, be leaders, you know, at, especially when you're gone and on vacation, like, hey, I'm going to take a vacation. Like, I do you want an opportunity? Like, I feel like you're ready. Do you feel like you're ready? I want to empower you in a leadership role, and pass that. And when people see that, they're like, wow, like, cool, like, it's not just all about like him being the boss, or whatever. I always tell my employees that this is a partnership. If you fail, I fail. And
Yeah.
so if you're ever not feeling empowered, I'm not feeling empowered. Like it's my job to make sure that my employees are happy, and that obviously mental health is a big thing for me. Like I want to make sure the pressures of life and everything, like we are a team, and some people are like yourself are afraid to ask for help. They'll just do it themselves. They have something to prove. That's how I think I was in the beginning, but then once I got my marketing role, I was like, I got this. I hooked them. Now I just have to prove it. And how can I do this? I had to really focus on empowering the people around me to support me, because I can't do it alone. You can never do it alone. And I think so much in tech is so segued and siloed that, like, you get hired to do one job and you are not looking at anybody else. And you're like, oh, you're not my boss. Like, I don't work with you. Like, I'm told to do this and only this. Like, whereas there's these other services and businesses where they offer a little more, where you're not going to just do one thing. You're going to do X, Y, and Z. And if you want more, let me know, and I'll empower you to be that leader of, more responsibility. And it's important to me to make sure everyone feels heard. And part of my marketing plan, and I make a point, is an IDP, which is, individual development plans. And since I've been back from maternity leave, I've already done two, and I've only been back since June.
Wow.
But because I was out, I owed it to my employees that they heard from me twice. I was out for some time. I needed to catch up. We caught up, and then I had to circle back with adjustments and make sure that we were both on the same page as far as where they see themselves, where they want to be in the company. It's really, really important. And just in life, like, it doesn't even have to be about the company. Like, in life, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be? And I know in a smaller business like yours, it makes growth a little more challenging, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
I come from that, right? So there's a soft spot in my heart for that. Like, I accepted that I probably would never move up in any way from being a marketing manager, and it wasn't that I accepted it. It was more that there were other opportunities that I know I can learn and apply myself to, that maybe I won't have the title that other people may get at these bigger companies, but that experience and that empowerment and knowing that, like, I owned this project, I owned, this initiative, I think is honestly means more to me than any title ever would. And so I always find that important to circle that back and pay it forward to any employees that are under my management. So with that being said, how do you, encourage and really ultimately empower your employers to, want to do more and want to grow with you and your company?
Yeah, that's the question, right? That's like day one leadership, right? Every day,
Hmm.
every day is day one to be the leader that you want to be, right? But like, what is that? What is that? And that's hard, and it's really hard as like owner operator.
Yep.
Most are technicians turned shop owners, right? So we know how to fix the cars, and you hire someone that doesn't do it as good as you, and you just want to step in and do it, right? Um, and I feel like it's almost easier to not be automotive inclined, like have no experience fixing cars and run the business. Like that's
Hmm.
kind of like where my eyes are opening now, right? To the point where like, man, if I didn't really know how to fix cars, I could really just focus on building systems and getting the right employees to make sure things move smoothly, right? But on the flip
Yeah.
side of that,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't know how to fix cars, right? Because I can step in and I can fix them if something goes sideways. So it's like
Right.
it's a
Right.
super sharp double-edged sword, right? Like, oh man, so what is the leadership role I want to be? Well, it's always about how you were raised or how I was raised, right? And you're, we grew up together. So
Hmm.
it was a little hard nosed, right? Like,
Yep.
and you just were trained like if you didn't do it right, you got smacked around a little bit and then you did it
Hmm.
right. And
Hmm.
it's like that doesn't work anymore. And
Right.
so there's no base. Like I have no foundation to like build off of, which is really difficult to like, well, honestly, I want to be in the position where they feel comfortable talking to me,
Yeah.
but it's very awkward and you don't want to force that conversation either, right? And you
Yep.
nailed it on the head with like it's way more about just day-to-day work, right? For a long time it was like, hey, when you're here, it's work. Then I give you your paycheck and our relationship is that's our transaction, right? Like
Yep.
you're here to work, I give you a paycheck and that's the end of the line, right? And it's like, holy, I was wrong. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's way, way, way like not who I should be or want to be. But it's like when you're stressed and you're trying to run a business and you're trying to do all these other things, and it's like you hire someone to do a job and you treat your employee as if like we were talking about with the service industry, someone coming to your house to fix a plumbing leak or something. You
Hmm.
you treat your employees as that transactional like service professional. You're like, hey, I hired you to do a job, so you're gonna fix this car, right? And then I pay you. And it's like it's totally 180 degrees different than like your employee. Does that make sense? Like
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like I had it all wrong, right? And I've realized luckily years ago that I had it wrong. And that's important because that's like step 1. Like
Acceptance.
realizing I'm doing it wrong, so how do I do it differently, right? And like just
Yeah.
like you said, finding out who they are, what what's going on with their kids and all that other stuff
Yep.
is like that's what's really important moving forward, and
Hmm.
learning about them and their dreams and ambitions, getting them to tell you that is a completely different, you know, um ball game.
Yes. Not everybody is going to be. I feel like people struggle vocalizing because they don't know if it's a safe space. And I get it because like you can only say so much to your boss, right? Like, yeah, your boss is cool, you're friends, but then at the same time, it's like he is my boss. There's certain things I can say, certain things I can't, and it's like where's that line, right? Like where's
Yeah.
that line of comfortability? And
But
I feel like
it
it's
does
a
there really even
challenge.
need to be a line, right? And I think it comes
Yeah,
down to the people, right? Like if you have the right people, there really you shouldn't have to draw the line. It should be a mutual understanding, right? Like there's got to be a level of respect. Like, yeah, you're not gonna have a 6 pack in the fridge and just drink a beer whenever you want throughout the day. Like, yeah, I know we hang out, we have a good time, but that's not cool. Like, how did you think? How did we get there? Like, why is this? You know what I mean?
yeah,
No, you're
yeah,
not gonna like call me in the middle of the night and like weird stuff like that, right? And it's like
yeah,
that's that PTSD or those problems that you happen in your life, and then you just get jaded and you're like, nope, I'm not letting that ever happen again. So now I'm gonna draw this metaphorical line, and we're gonna cross that. We're never gonna talk further than inside the business. Like we're not gonna go hang out because I don't want to build that relationship and have someone do that to me again. And it's like, well,
yeah.
that was just that one person, maybe, you know?
Exactly. Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't put every situation needs to be in its own box, right? And you take the lessons learned from that one situation and you try to make it better. Like, maybe my approach was too friendly. Like maybe there was a better way for me to handle it. There has to be some ownership on both sides. Um, but the one thing I find really important to this that circles back to marketing is your employees are a representation of your business and your reputation. And so, one thing I always, always, always tell my team whenever I hire anyone new, I always tell them that it's a famous quote from Warren Buffett, and I guess I'll leave on this note. We can chat a little bit, but um, it takes 20 years to build a reputation and 5 minutes to ruin it. And if you think about that,
Let that hit
you'll do
home.
things differently.
Yeah.
And and I'm a strong believer that, I mean, every single employee that ended up leaving or going on to better opportunities or having, retirement or, all the exciting life changes, and when they end up moving away from the business, I always want to make sure that there is a good relationship there, that they know they can always call, they can always come visit. And that was really, really important to my to the old business that I worked for. Um, And
Keep the
I
emotions out of it, huh?
y- yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. But it's important because, like, from a sales perspective and a marketing perspective,
Yeah.
a pissed off employee can do just as much damage as a pissed off customer,
Yeah.
especially with the internet. And so it's never an intention to ruin a relationship or, to make somebody unhappy, but sometimes it happens, and it's all about your approach, right? And so that's where I I find it important, is that it's important to make sure that you take the time to think before you speak, while also, you know, keeping in mind
While
that
also
it is a
speaking your mind.
business. I
Think
didn't
before
say
you
that. I
speak,
didn't say that.
but speak from the heart. Maybe
So-
not. Well, then they got the shame too. Like if they leave and they think the grass is greener and it's not, and you're not in good terms, they're definitely not coming back to you, right? Like, because what are you gonna
oh,
do? Shove it in their face? Told you you weren't gonna like it, right? So, like, get past
oh,
your
we've had a
ego.
lot of
Get
people leave and come right back.
Yeah. Well, if you set it up right, right? Like
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people leave and then they're shameful because they it wasn't what they thought it was going to be, and now they feel like they can't go back, right?
right.
Because that opportunity wasn't there, that ego was on the table. Like, you're leaving me
Hmm.
for what? You know you're not going to like it there. You say that and they
Right.
leave and they don't like it there. Well, they're definitely not coming back. Oh, yes, master. You were right. I hate it
Yeah,
over there. Can you please take me back? Like, nobody's going to do that, right? Like, that's crazy. So
yeah.
that's an important note for sure.
No, definitely. And it helps too with knowing, it how you treat your employees is how you ultimately end up treating your customers, you
Yeah.
know. And so it's like, I hate to say it, because, the customer's always right, but it's used to a different definition. It's not a literal; it's a figurative way of speech,
Yeah.
that it's like, no, just listen to them. And most of the time they're running on high emotion. You're not. So it's a perfect opportunity to listen to what they have to say, and create solutions. Start running solutions in your head, instead of pointing, well, sorry, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Well, no, there's gray areas, and there has to be a little bit in business, because, like, hey, you delivered this and they're all broken. Oh, well, that's not our problem. It's probably because the truck didn't have proper airbags. Like,
Yeah, that's
it's
not gonna go over very well, huh?
no. So it's like, yeah, we don't really replace material, but in this case, like, if everything showed up damaged, like, we need to investigate this, but first we need to take care of the customer. Do
Yeah.
we like it? No. But this is just a cost of doing business. And same with you, like, someone probably doesn't show up to work, and, they had a job to do. I'm sure you're stepping in and people are covering, and y'all are trying to get it done so that the customer doesn't feel it,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I had an example today where someone came in, and this was a couple weeks back, where we had an assessment and a diagnosis that the transmission was bad, and so they
Hmm.
took it upon themselves to replace the transmission. Didn't fix the problem, so they went to another shop. They found the exhaust was plugged up, replaced the catalytic converter, fixed the car, and now he's on the road. Well, obviously he's upset because we were wrong, right? And of course, the first thoughts in the head is like, well, why don't you bring it back to us, after? Or like, how do I know that the transmission didn't fix part of the problem? Was there two different problems going on? Right. And so, as the technician and as the ego starts coming in, like, wait a second here, like, we know what
Hmm.
we're doing. And
Yeah.
so, the conversation is in my head going on like that. Right. And at the end of the day, it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, what
Hmm.
I think or what really happened. The most important thing is he came back to tell us, and that was the first thing. Like, dude, thanks for coming, like, letting us know, right? Like, step one, like, dude, this is like super valuable information. Like, I appreciate you coming back and at least telling us. How do we make it right? Well, I want my money back for the assessment. And I think we did a trans service or something to try to help. I'm like, you know what, that's fair. Like, that's
Yeah.
absolutely fair. Like, and we may, who knows, like, it's all who knows
Yeah.
if what we said was right. But the main thing, and you didn't give us the opportunity to come back or to reassess it, or
Hmm.
you just took it
Hmm.
upon yourself, and it's not
Hmm.
like, you have all these things, right? Like,
Yep.
well, we didn't diagnose it because you didn't give us enough time. It doesn't matter. He's back here. He's mildly upset, which he should be, because he was told something. He did what he should have told to fix it, right? As like a non-car person, that's how you see it, right? Well, you
Yeah,
told me it was
yeah,
this part. I had that part replaced. It didn't fix it, and that's it. And I got to look at it that way. And it's like, all right, well, here's your money back. And you know what I was thinking about with that too is reaching back out to him and saying, you know what, whatever the cost of that transmission was, I want to split it with you, and I want to give you that as a credit to come back to the shop, and like use that
yeah,
as a creative opportunity instead of getting pissed off at the guys. Like, how did you misdiagnose this, right? Like, and you have
yeah,
all these
yeah.
things like in your head, and you want to go like, rip someone's head off. Like, what are you talking? Or go to the other shop. Like, how come you didn't call me, right? There's all these things that's like you instantly want to do because you're upset because something went
Yes.
wrong, and instead it's like, you know what, let's get him taken care of. You got how much you want, here you go, done, it's credited back. And now how do I make a creative solution out of this? Like,
Yep.
can I give you $1,000 voucher to come back to the shop as a credit, right? It's something like that to help that, because it's like that information was so valuable. Like, if I
Yeah.
didn't know, I wouldn't known that we misdiagnosed something, right? Or we had this
Right.
internal problem going on, and it's gonna happen. Like, I don't care.
Yep.
Like, I'll say it. Like, it happens. Like, we're not perfect.
No, for sure. And that kind of circles back with that retention. And, how do I retain him even though he's mad and he probably is going to walk out of here never wanting to come back in the shop.
Yeah,
And, I think that's a great solution to not only retain him, but or there's this stereotypical view on the auto mechanic industry.
yeah, yep.
And it's that they're all slimy and they can't be trusted. And I think by doing things like this, it helps build that brand trust and loyalty
Integrity,
and
standing
and
behind what you say.
standing behind what you say,
Yeah,
and really making them say, hey, like, I've had all these bad experiences, like, this is a good one. If he ends up coming back and becomes your loyal customer moving forward, what a hell of a story he gets to tell
yeah.
to all his family, friends,
Well, we can all
coworkers.
do it good, right? Like, but what do you do when it goes bad? And that's what's important.
That's my favorite part.
Everyone's always waiting for the other foot to drop, right? Like, you can deliver truckloads and truckloads of landscape material, right? But what happens when
Hmm.
that one truckload shows up and it's all broken, right?
Hmm.
That's where you shine, right? And that's
Yep.
where that, hey, this all came broken. And it's like, oh man, we screwed up. It's like, no, 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 no. This is a great opportunity to show what happens when something goes wrong, and that we stand behind what we do to provide a
Yep.
better service than anybody else. Because you know what
Hmm.
that happens the next time they're looking for landscape materials? They're thinking in the back of their head, man, what if that truckload, what if it comes broken? Well, I know this company will take care of it, no questions asked. So that's the worst case scenario. They took care of it, made it easy
Yep.
for me. I'm calling them.
You nailed it, and that's exactly our mo. And
Yeah.
that is the sales marketing that we do, is how we service our customers is a big part of how we retain you know how we retain clients, really.
Hmm.
Because our client is the installer, right? Or, well, I guess our client is the dealer who's selling it, but our client is also the installer, because that's the approach that we have taken. I don't know if many manufacturers that step in and they're on a job site while it's being installed because the homeowner had a question. That's where we're at. And that's what sets us apart
Do
from
the
a lot
things
of
that
our
no one else is
competitive.
doing.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
And the things that matter, right? Like, there's a lot of things you could do that may not be as impactful, but in this case, it's like we pay a lot of money for you know the time spent out in the field, and that's not going anywhere. Like, that's an initiative that is very important, and is one of our goals for next year, as well as it was for this year, is making sure that we're the best advocate for ourselves, and that it doesn't, just because a sale is over, it's never over. Like, who's the next person, who's your sister, who's your brother, like, have they seen this, have they heard about it? Here, let me send you some samples. Like, let's do this. And if you're not ready, no big deal. When you're ready, we're here for you. Just give me a call. Here's my card. Like, no pressure. You got a question, call me. Like, you have a concern, call me. And providing that friendship to the purchase is important. Um,
Yep.
it makes you feel like you have someone that you have an expert at your fingertips, and that's one area of automation that I don't think I'll ever be on board on board with is the fact that you don't have someone answering phone. um I know in our industry, we deal with so many distributors that it can be very frustrating if you're calling and needing an answer and it takes you a minute and 1 minute and 20 seconds to get someone to say hello, you know thank you for
Yeah.
calling. How can I help you? And so it adds a frustration part that I'll never be a fan of. That out of all the marketing initiatives, automating voice. And I think it's because there's a negative connotation around it, right? Like if I'm calling if I'm calling and going through automation, it's because I got fraud on my credit card. I got to get through to a doctor's office. Like it's always like a hassle. It's not a fun experience. And
Yeah.
so why would you want to do that when you're shopping around for a service, or you want someone to answer right away and not be like press 1 for customer service? Like no, sorry. You should have answered my call.
It's
Like
nice. It's nice when you call someone that seems like a big company and they answer the phone on the second or third ring. You're like, "Oh, what? Are you really there? Oh, that's
yep,
cool." And I'm guilty of it. We have a call forwarding service, and you have to prompt numbers through, and
yeah,
it's a fine line, right? Like I don't want to spend money paying them to answer phones, a bunch of spam callers and telemarketers, right? But I also
yeah,
want that experience where they call and they can get it right away. So I use my voice, right? And I record my, hey, this is Jimmy. Just I want, but like you said, like
yeah,
I should
yeah.
make it a little more personalized. Hey, I'm letting you know, like we're just blocking a few of the spam callers, so go ahead and press one, and it'll take you right. Just like a quick message. And
Yeah,
it's funny you
yeah.
said that because I've tried to keep it well under 8 seconds as a prompt. Like I want a quick
That's
little
solid.
intro.
That's solid. I'm
Yeah.
talking about these and I say 1 minute and 20 seconds because I have an experience.
Yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, and that's something that, just it's a lot of resources. So I understand.
It's a gray area too, right? Like, don't not do VoIP, right? Like
Yep.
don't like it's not one or the other. It's like making sure that you're doing it right. Like keep it
Doing it
short and
right. Yes.
sweet. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. 100%.
Well, this has been awesome. I
I
appreciate
know
your
I can I
time.
can I can keep talking, but I got a baby to take care
Yeah,
of.
you got to get back
So
to the baby.
I do. I do. My little Savannah
This is
girl.
this has all been really good. Yeah, we could just keep going forever with this stuff, huh?
We can. I know there was a topic that we didn't get to, but it's okay. Next time,
There's always a
part two.
next one.
But
We'll have to wait a
I
year.
do
We'll
want
have
to
to wait a
follow
year
up.
for the next one.
I do want to follow up. I want to hold you accountable for that customer. I want you to reach back out.
Okay.
And I want next time we talk, we'll give that to the listeners and see how that ended up happening.
We'll see how long it well, they'll know because 'cause they'll see how long it takes between the 2 episodes, so hopefully it's not a year.
Phil won't believe us if it's a year. We
It's
have to
gonna
do
be
it sooner
August of
than that.
2025.
No, no. When you have some feedback, reach out to me and I'll schedule it sooner than later, and so that we can provide some feedback. But I think
We'll be
that's
back in Vegas in, October again, so maybe we'll hook up and do a live
okay.
one.
Okay. Yeah, let's
That'd be
do
fun,
it.
huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah, because you haven't been to my house, so you have to come like see the house,
Yeah, and see the
meet the
baby.
baby. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh
I'm
my god, I
excited.
love that. And we can do a
Yes.
little setup in the living room. Oh my god, I'm excited. Yes. Well, let's plan for that. But if it happens sooner, we gotta let your fans know sooner. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I think there's 1 or 2 listeners, so we'll let them both know.
Oh my gosh. Hi.
Let me
Hopefully you'll
pause this
have more
thing.
after this.